Hey guys, I realized that my last video did not have audio, but I went to go show it to my boyfriend and talk a little further about my response to this whole prompt. So I'm really sorry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and redo everything that I said. I'm just gonna run through the stuff that I have written down in the corner, so if I'm kind of looking off to the side, that's why. Just to start, my name is Becca. Hello to those of you who did not see my introduction video. I read the articles referring to gender and the parents keeping their children's sex a secret. So for the first question, what do you think of the articles? I think it's a really hot topic right now. I think there's a really hot debate in whether or not gender labels are positive or negative, whether or not gender and sex are the same. I understand most people's confusion. I also personally do not really believe it's any of our business what people choose to identify themselves as. The comment that kind of struck me quoted in Gender-Free Baby, it's okay for parents to keep their child's sex a secret, stating, the world around us has been set by thousands of years of social evolution. To undo this is selfish. Little questionable to me, little flawed in logic. I should preface the next statement by saying that I personally think gender and sex are very different, sex being the parts that you are born with, if you will, while gender is the label you choose for yourself. That being said, choosing a gender is not undoing social evolution. It's simply choosing the pronouns you want to identify yourself as. We create these genders based on a collection of traits that we find more feminine or more masculine. That's kind of a societal thing. I don't think that choosing to identify with a gender that doesn't necessarily correlate with your sex means that you're undoing social evolution. The fact that we've come to this point as a society where we can openly question that and choose different pronouns proves that we've kind of created this situation. I think that statement is a little invalid. The next part that I kind of want to talk about is in the textbook. It does state that around 17 months, children begin to establish a categorical self, something that allows a child to organize themselves in who they are, i.e., child versus adult, boy versus girl, strong or smart, or both. The book then goes on to state that parents encourage gender-typed behavior by responding more positively when toddlers display it, which leads me to believe that, the statement about undoing evolution isn't necessarily true, because we kind of enforce this behavior on our children rather than them necessarily choosing it. And there definitely are females who are more prone to go to those pretty pink toys and the sparkles, and there are boys who are more prone to play with toys, but there are also children who have different preferences. They have opposite preferences, and we really encourage them to go the opposite way based on the norms that we enforce on them. For the next question, do you think it's possible to gender neutralize a child? Why not? I'm a very liberal thinker, but no, obviously it's not possible to neutralize a gender. Just like was stated by Cheryl Davis, without acknowledging each gender, you lose the power of acknowledging differences, which is a big factor for many people who realize their gender conflicts with their sex. It's a really big empowerment for a lot of women, a lot of men and women hold themselves to a certain standard and are very proud of the fact of being a man or a woman. The traits that we associate with each of those are so embedded in our society and our personal identities that there's no way to avoid them. When children start school, they're going to be asked, are you a boy or a girl? What are your pronouns? Just because of societal norms. So I don't think it's possible to gender neutralize children. I also don't think that, as the article says, that it sets the child up for bullying, scapegoating, and marginalization. I think that the big key for that is, again, promoting understanding, as well as making those children aware at the time that they become school age that there are going to be people who disagree with them. There are going to be times that they may feel attacked because of the way that others are raised. It's just important to let them know that they are valid and they're not invalidated because of whatever opinions other people may hold, but that they have the support of their family. As for the last question, are boys and girls really the same? How are they similar? How are they different? I think this is kind of a bit of a no-brainer for me, especially coming back to the whole idea that sex and gender are very different. So boys and girls being a gender sort of category versus male and female being sex, boys and girls can be very similar. They can be the same, whereas males and females are not. this is going back to my biology education. Boys or males and females develop very differently. They have different temperaments, different development patterns. They're very different hormonally, developmentally. Um, just like the book mentions, boys are more active and daring, less fearful, more irritable and frustrated, more impulsive, whereas girls are typically more compliant. But those are just typical norms. Those are things that you would more commonly see with someone who identifies or someone who is a male versus someone who is a female. That doesn't mean that there's not overlap, that there are not girls who definitely act more like boys or boys who act more like girls, but that comes back to the whole idea of, masculine versus feminine, and you can be a male and have more feminine tendencies, and that doesn't invalidate you as a person. It just, you are born either male or female, and you can have that reassigned, but that doesn't affect the gender that you identify as.